Good morning, sports fans. My name is Elliot Murray, and you're watching the Friday Sports Buzz. It's 11 a.m, and here's what we've got coming up for you on today's show. Terry Dennis tells us about his incredible BBC Sport Personality Award. Baseball in Bournemouth takes off with a brand new documentary. And we visited the local social club who were saved by the darts. But first, with the Bournemouth men's team out of action this week, we turn our attention to the women's game and a massive fixture near the top of the league. Bournemouth host Swindon Town in the Women's National League, and James Guy visited the Vitality Stadium to speak to manager Steve Cuss ahead of this weekend's clash.
Well, obviously Sunday you're up against Swindon Town, who are just behind you in the league, 7 points behind you, but you've got the opportunity to go top of the league. How are you feeling about going into that fixture?
Yeah, it's just a little bit, just trying to do a little bit of work around the Christmas break. Obviously the first half of the season was tremendous for us. To win 9 out of 9 league games was fantastic, but you have that Christmas break and you're always just a little bit cautious about how we start again. So we have been training well. We've had a number of extra sessions as well, so we're really looking forward to getting going again. Obviously the disappointment of Sunday's game being called off, but we got an internal training game going, which was great, but looking forward to a competitive match against a very good Swindon side.
Great, so obviously you're unbeaten in the league this season, so what do you put down to that incredible run of form?
Yeah, I think the players have been fantastic. I've got to say we've assembled a really good squad here, but it's down to the players performing on the pitch week after week, and they've done that. They've set themselves really high standards. Obviously, we do want to get promoted, and we know we're not gonna move away from that. What we're saying, but there's a lot of other teams that want to do that as well. And importantly, that's the prize at the end of the season. And as I say to the players, it's what happens week in, week out. So seeing them work hard on a training pitch is important. And then we take each game as it comes. I know it's a bit of a cliche from a coach and manager, but it's important that we do that. Don't look too far ahead and try and win that next game, and the next game's Swindon, and we know that's going to be a tough one.
Well, I'm now joined in the studio by James Guy. James, you also caught up with one of the Bournemouth women's players, didn't you?
Yes, Elliot, I met up with Cherries defender Olivia Venditto, who is one of the youngest players in the squad and joined in the summer after her move from Brighton and Hove Albion's development squad. We spoke about her Sunday's game and the story of her career so far.
So Olivia, it's your first season at AFC Bournemouth, so how have you found settling into your new club?
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. Obviously it's a nerve-wracking thing to move to then play with a whole group of new people, but no, I think I've really settled in well. Took a bit of time to get to know the players and know how they obviously want to play, but no, I've really enjoyed it. The girls welcomed me in, and yeah, I'm looking forward to the rest of the season.
So as a player personally, you've had to adapt your position and your sort of playing style potentially. So could you just tell us about that, sort of transitioning from Brighton before to where you are now?
Yeah, so I was centre midfielder and now moved to right back. It's a new challenge. As you said, the whole vision of the pitch is completely different. I think it helped playing in midfield to then kind of know what to expect from a centre midfielder. But no, I'm enjoying the challenge, taking it game by game, learning new things as they come.
Could you sort of tell us a bit about your career as a whole, sort of getting to this moment in time, sort of your story briefly up until this point?
Yeah, so well, started with tennis. Tennis was my thing, and then moved to football at about 11, 12 years old. Then went into Brighton's academy under 14s. Actually got released that year. That was quite a big step for me to go from grassroots to academy football. But went and worked myself, retrialled and went into the under 16s and stayed there for another 4 years. When going up into the under 21s, it was good, got experiences to train up with the first team. So that was a kind of a huge experience where you're taking everything in, and to then take that back down into the under 21s and then come to Bournemouth.
Great. So along that journey, what would you say has been like the biggest challenging moment for you along the way?
I think, well, firstly getting released at a young age and not playing football for that long. It was quite something that was hard to take, but went away and, like I said, worked on myself and to then be able to retrial. I think also in the under 21s I had a back and hip injury which kept me out for about 18 months. But again, that just kind of improved my resilience and me as a person, both on and off the pitch.
You've obviously had a very extended break over Christmas, particularly with your fixture being postponed last weekend. So how are you feeling about getting back out on the pitch on Sunday?
Yeah, we can't wait. Obviously it's very frustrating, the game's getting cancelled. It was good over Christmas to go and see family and kind of refresh yourself and then come back in. The girls were ready to go and training was going well. So yeah, we just now focus on Swindon and yeah, train again and train well this week.
Great. So your opponents Swindon Town, they're obviously 7 points behind you in the league. How confident are you feeling about going into this game?
I mean, it depends what happens on the day. I think both games against Swindon, when we played them in the FA Cup, they were both narrow, tough games. They're a very strong side. So yeah, I mean, we're working hard this week. We know what to do against them. We know what they're going to do against us. So I think it's performing on the day and doing what the manager wants us to do.
You're still unbeaten in the Women's National League, so what would you put down to that incredible run of form so far?
I think every weekend the girls are putting out the performances that the manager's expecting us to do. The hard work that we're putting in at training then comes out on the games, the passing patterns that we're doing, being clinical in front of the goal, scoring lots of goals, and that's not just from one person, that's from the whole team. Everyone's making their input into the team. So yeah, I think then we're getting the 3 points that we deserve.
Obviously the women's game has changed a lot in recent years. What would you say have been the main changes since you first got into football up until now?
I think the more kind of focus on starting at a young age, and getting the girls the opportunity to maybe play at school. I know when I started it was just kind of me and playing with the boys, so it's good to get more girls involved, and hopefully with the more kind of social media and the focus on it, more girls will want to join in.
So looking ahead for the rest of the season, what are your personal targets and also the team's goals?
Well, as a team obviously we would like to progress. I think as we beat Portsmouth, who are a tier 3 side this season, I think it shows that we have the capabilities to progress and go further. Individually, I think I just kind of want to carry on enjoying it as well. I think I've really enjoyed playing football this season, and yeah, just keep getting better, learning my position more, and yeah, getting those wins.
And lastly, just going back to your fixture on Sunday, obviously it's a big game. They're third, you're second, so can you just sort of give us your sort of final thoughts going into that game?
Yeah, I think we know that it's going to be a difficult game, but I think we're prepared for obviously doing extra sessions this week, and really doing that deep analysis on them and what we can do to improve, and then be able to put that performance out on Sunday.
Now to a rather special story here at the Friday Sports Buzz. Dorset's own Terry Dennis has picked up an extraordinary award from the BBC. He's won Sports Personality of the Year Unsung Hero of the South Award. His remarkable work is something that we sent Will Oakley to find out more about.
Sorry guys, I'm not clever, you have to basketball jump off the door.
No, that's all right.
Yeah. So you
Oh,
can be
wow.
annoyed while doing stuff.
So, Terry, let's start with the obvious. Congratulations on the Sports Personality of the Year Unsung Hero of the South Award.
Cheers, thanks a lot.
How did it feel winning that?
I was in a state of shock at the time, I wasn't expecting it at all. I tend to just enjoy what I do, and I wasn't looking for any award or gratification, and I don't really see me as doing a lot to get something like that. So yeah, when it actually happened I was in a bit of a state of shock, to be honest.
And am I right in saying it was your wife that nominated you for that award?
Yes.
Yeah, so I listened to your interview on BBC Solent, and Charlotte does seem like your biggest fan.
We've been together since 2002. She's been so supportive, and over the last probably 5-6 years I've had a spell of ill health. I've been in and out of hospital quite a bit, and she's been a rock. She's been there the whole time.
So in the 90s you helped ensure that there were wheelchair basketball teams in Dorset. Did you find that before you helped set them up there was a lack of access for people in wheelchairs to play sport in general?
Yeah, and there still is today within the county of Dorset. Back in, I became disabled 88, but I'd always done sport as a kid, mainly football, but I don't know, things like cycling, running, etc. So I was determined to get back to sport. So I was talking one day to a friend of mine that worked at a disability rehabilitation centre. She said, well, we've got enough players to set up a basketball team. So the first one got set up just from that point of view. That team developed into 2 teams. We had so many players, we ended up having 2 teams. So for a period throughout the 90s, there was a time when we actually had 3 wheelchair basketball teams based in Poole.
Then you took on fencing, which is quite the change in sport. How did that happen?
One of the other guys from the basketball team bumped into a guy who was a coach at a local fencing club, who happened to be the assistant coach for the Great Britain wheelchair team at the time as well. And he said to him, look, bring a few guys along, I'll give you a free introduction into wheelchair fencing. The first week, 9 of us turned up. 6 weeks later, there was only one left. That was me. My concept of wheelchair fencing was completely wrong. Yes, you are clamped into one position as far as your chair is concerned, but with your body movement and all the skills you need with the sword work and stuff, it is a really challenging sport. And yeah, from there I went on, because I had good quality coaching, assistant GB coach at the time, I got into the GB team. I ended up being ranked 2nd in Great Britain, 15th in the world.
You founded your current club, Dorset Demons. Can you talk us through founding that?
Yeah. In the summer of 2021, I applied for some funding to run some taster sessions, and they proved really successful. And there was a number of players who wanted to carry on playing afterwards, so that's how the club was formed. Yeah, early 2022, we got a constitution together, and it's built from there.
Do you find it hard getting enough players?
We're getting enough players to turn up regularly to training. It's getting enough that want to play competitively. Although since the Unsung Hero Award, that's given us a bit more publicity. We've got another 2 who came to training last week, the first training session of the year. So each week at training, we're probably getting 10, 12 people turn up. Oh. So new me, new year type thing. It's kicking in at the moment, and we'll see how long that lasts. But there's plenty of people wanting to come along and do basketball. It's just how competitive they want to be with it.
Okay, brilliant.
You've been quite an inspiration in that sense, because you've won the award and what you've done. So what would you say to people who are maybe looking to get into, firstly, something like wheelchair basketball, but also just looking to potentially change their lives?
You only got one life, and you've got to make sure it's a life that you remember and live well. So if there's something you want to do, you've just got to get on and do it. Looking back to when we set up the initial wheelchair basketball team, I knew very little about disability sport. I mean, I'd only been using the wheelchair a couple of years myself. I'd never run a club, never done anything like that at all, and it was things I had to learn whilst I was doing it. You learn on the job, you get the experience. You're going to make mistakes, but you've got to get on and do it, because, as I said, you've only got the one life. Make the most of it.
Charlie Dennis has supported her husband Terry throughout his journey, and they are both so proud of the community they've built at the Dorset Demons.
And it's not just about the basketball, is it? It's kind of the community that you have here. It's brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, the basketball's amazing. It's great fun. We enjoy playing it. It's good for our physical health and everything. But mental health as well is just as important to us. So we're working as a family, becoming real friends and making friendships out in and out of the community. And just, some people don't get out of their flats. And us, throughout the week, this is their one good thing. And we can just have a good chat and say, how are you today?
Yeah. And the obvious reason why you've had to do quite a few interviews and Terry's been asked a lot was obviously the awards.
Well, to be honest, I didn't realise it was such a big thing. I saw it on the Radio Solent website and I thought, it's a local award for a local person that's done a lot in the community, and he's done so much since the 90s even. Ever since he was first disabled, he can't just do a sport. He has to coach, he has to run it, he has to help, he has to fundraise. So he's always been an unsung hero to me.
Sophie Chandler is part of Terry's Dorset Demons. Sophie told me her story of why she joined and how much Terry has helped her confidence.
So my boyfriend played basketball for another team, and then Terry started this club up, and he said, you should come and play basketball with me, and I was like, oh God, no. So obviously I had a panic attack in the car park and cried all the way in, and then I was like, I'm not gonna get in a chair and I'll just watch. And then Charlie came up and she was like, get in a chair, and I was like, so I haven't got out of a chair since.
Perfect. How good has it been for you? Obviously, physically, we were just saying that we don't think we can do this. It's so much to do at once. I just don't think we could. But how good has it been physically, but also mentally for you as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's intense. It's a really good workout, but mentally, it's helped with my anxiety. It's helped with my confidence. It's been brilliant.
And you mentioned how Terry helped as well. How much has he helped you, not just here, but everywhere else, really?
I mean, this club's given me so much confidence, and it's given me so much more. It's given me structure. It's given me something to do. I've got a social life because of here. Terry setting the club up has been the best thing that's happened to me, really.
Well, now it's time for a weekly roundup of all this week's big sporting events. Stephen Cadrio is here with me in the studio to talk us through it.
Thanks, Elliot. Tragedy struck the footballing world this week as German legend Franz Beckenbauer passed away at the age of 78. The footballing icon was one of only 3 people to win the World Cup as a player and a manager. Former England manager Sven-Göran Eriksson was diagnosed with terminal cancer, announcing that he has, at best case, a year to live. The 75-year-old Swede made history when he became the first foreign coach to manage England following his appointment in 2001. In the snooker, the first semi-final of the UK Masters was confirmed after last night's action. Ronnie O'Sullivan defeated Barry Hawkins 6-3 and set up his meeting against Sean Murphy, who overcame Jack Klosowski 6-3. Andy Farrell has been appointed as a British and Irish Lions head coach for the 2025 Australia Tour. Currently coaching Ireland, the Englishman succeeds Warren Gatland in the role, having served as his assistant for the 2013 and 2017 series. In cricket, Yorkshire's board have approved a controversial takeover for the club from a consortium led by former chairman Colin Graves. Graves' time at Yorkshire was part of the period where the club was fined for failing to address the use of discriminatory or racist language. This week also saw the first legs of the Carabao Cup take place. Middlesbrough shocked Chelsea with a 1-0 win at the Riverside Stadium. In the other fixture, Liverpool survived the scare as they came back to beat Fulham 2-1 at Anfield. Also taking place this weekend is the 4th round of the FA Vase. Earlier this week, I spoke to Hamworthy Recreation manager Wayne Smith. His side are in the competition for the first time and they take on Jersey Bulls on Saturday. Smith spoke about how the cup run's gone, as well as the squad and the running of the club.
Hi Wayne, I want to say first of all congrats on making it to the 4th round of the Vase. How has the cup run been so far and what's the experience been like?
Thanks. So it's been a good experience for us as a club. It's the first time they've been in this competition. Me myself, I've done the FA Vase a few times, so it's not really new to me. But for the club, it's great. The lads, we're a young group, so they're relishing it. It's the furthest that most of them, nearly all of them have got so far. So we're looking for a good response Saturday, and we're going to train twice this week. Start tonight, and then be ready for it.
The run may come as a surprise to quite a few people, considering it's a debut run. Do you see it as a surprise, or is there belief in the squad at the start of the season to do what you've done so far?
So you've got to believe in what we've got. We had a good first year in this league last year. We've added some really good players. From New Milton, which has pushed us on again to another level. We're of course currently unbeaten in the league so far, which is a feat in itself. So if we go into it knowing that we could be anyone. I'll draw on my experiences when we've played higher league teams and we've done well. We've got some really good players, really good squad. So yeah, we'll go with confidence. BGM has just come on to sponsor us, our stadium now. So he's a good friend of mine, and they sponsored. So we went out called the BGM Stadium. Unfortunately, the weather last couple of weeks is, as you can see, has blown a bit of damage.
So yeah, with the team also doing so on the league and in a potential title race, how has it been trying to balance the focus between the league and the cup?
I think that's a good point. As cliche as it sounds, it's one game after another. We're in the Dorset Senior Cup as well. We got through to semi-final, so we've got a big squad. There's good players, so it's a good chance to utilise all the players in 3 competitions. With the weather's being as it is, we've struggled, but recently to rotate as much because we don't have many games on. We've had to move a few. But having different competitions, I think it's good, so it gives us a chance to use everyone, and they're all good enough to be played.
Speak about funds and obviously these sponsors, obviously making it fine so the Vase gives these financial benefits. How important do you think that is, like a team at this stage in the pyramid trying to climb up? We don't pay any of our players, so we don't need the money for finances for our players, but to go up a league, I believe that you're going to have to keep the players or to keep them motivated for the following season. I think we're going to have to start paying. May there be a win bonus, We're never going to have loads of money because even though it's a great facility here, we don't actually get any revenue from the bar. So with the sponsorship, that's what we need to move forward. If we want to do well in the league above, if and hopefully we get there.
You're obviously a joint manager
Yes.
with Kurt Grice. How is it like being a joint manager? Do you see yourself disagreeing with him, or do you think like having that shared responsibility has been like a reason for the success so far this season?
Yeah, I'm one that thinks, I think joint managers do work. We've both got different skill sets. He's very much a very good organiser. I've been a joint manager before, and I always thought it works. Some people think that they want to be the main person and they want to do everything, and that's fine. We share the responsibilities. Like this today. Either one of us could have done it.
Yeah.
And during match days, he does one bit, so I do other bits. Me personally, I find it easier. A lot easier rather than doing everything yourself. We've got coaching staff as well that do loads of different pieces. So more bodies make the light work.
Yeah, so I'm assuming it's all 50-50 then when it comes to decisions, or does someone more of a say than the other?
No, we come up with ideas together, and then yes, we'll get the odd one that we don't agree with, and then one week I'll get the nod on that, and next week he'll get the nod on that. But it's normally we're normally on point with who we're going to play and things like that. So it's not, we don't disagree much,
Yeah.
So we're on the same page.
Yeah. Well, lastly, obviously heading into this game, is there any news on any injury updates or any new players injured, or is the squad stayed the same?
Yeah, no, the squad stayed the same from Saturday. We are missing one player, a new signing, Lou McWilliams. He's played for his old club Verwood in previous rounds, so he's eligible to play. But everyone's fit so far. So we're training twice this week, so hopefully there's no injuries this week. But yeah, no, everyone's ready to go. All the flights are booked, everyone's ready, so looking forward to it.
Next up, it's been announced that a documentary will be made around the Bournemouth's very own baseball team, the Bournemouth Bears. They have gone from strength to strength after winning last season's Triple-A playoffs. Taylor Handel reports.
The Bournemouth Bears Baseball Club will be followed closely through the form of a Netflix-style documentary as they look to build on last season's successes of winning the playoffs. Their 2024 season will be covered by Grizzly Productions, who will be filming the documentary about the team. The documentary began filming this week and will be called Viva la Bears. It's expected to hit screens in 2025. I caught up with player and coach Jose Lopez to ask why the documentary is so important for the growth of baseball.
So Jose, thank you so much for speaking to me today. I want to speak to you about your upcoming documentary with Bournemouth Bears. You're obviously the coach. But first I just want to talk to you about last season, winning your league. How did that feel?
Well, last year we finished first. We won the championships. We worked a lot for it, about 3-4 years in the Triple-A, and it was a success season for us. Finally, we find a way to win the tournament, and it was just a good feeling. All the work pay off.
And you're top of the league this season as well. What do you sort of have to do to get it over the line this season as well?
So keep working hard. The league is getting harder every year. So more players, more teams, and just keep working the same way to try to make it again.
Yeah. And does that mindset sort of change the fact that you won it last season? You have to go and do it again now. What's sort of different about this season try to do it again?
Well, now this season is the same goal. The same goal, try to win the championships, try to win the league, and have fun is the most important thing.
Of course. And I know there's a documentary being filmed about your side with Grizzly Productions. Can you tell me a bit about how that came about?
Well, I received an email from Mike and Steve, and we start talking about how they wanted to do and the way they want to focus the documentary. And for us is like, that's the principles of Bournemouth Bears. So just excited to be filming that.
Does that come with any sort of pressures that the camera is on you all the time this season?
Not really. So the guys from Grizzly are so professional in that way to do things, and they prepared all of us to just be natural. And last Sunday we filmed in the training session, and they were like just really good leaders and try to take all the material for what they need.
So you're having a documentary filmed about, but what does that do generally for the sport of baseball? This is quite a unique sport here in Benton.
Well, so it's a great opportunity just to try to have a little bit of exposure here in the UK. The league have been here in the UK for a while, so but I think we need that push from the media like you guys, like Grizzly Pro, and all of that to make the sport grow.
How big can this sport get, do you think, in Bournemouth and in UK as well?
Well, one of the most important thing now to be part of the sports that we got, like really important sports in the UK, is the GB national team. So the seniors team did an amazing job in the last World Cup, which is just amazing. So, and then we're working with the under 18, under 15, under 13, and we are doing a good job as a country to make the baseball develop really fast and really good.
And I know you're also coach the upper 18s for Team GB. How is that different to coach with adults?
Well, that is a huge difference because the guys that we have in the under 18 for the TBT, they are already there. So there's a difference in regards of skills and the potential those kids have. So here in Bournemouth is anyone can come and all of the guys are welcome to try a new sport. And we try to just don't go for the skills. For example, you want to try to play baseball tomorrow, you come to us and we will find a place for you in the team. And we have 3 teams at the moment and the youth team. So we can find a place for anyone to develop their skills and start loving the game, start feeling that passion.
The recent PDC World Darts Championship has seen more darts fans than ever before. We had Will Oakley visit Avon Social Club in Bournemouth to find out about their recent success with their newly refurbished darts room.
Avon Social Club recently replaced pool and snooker tables for dartboards and have since held events here most days of the week. We spoke to event organiser Daniel Adams to find out why they chose to make Avon Social Club their new home for darts.
This is an ideal venue. This was a snooker room before. So they came in, did this room in a few weeks, literally whacked up 6 boards. And yeah, he runs darts Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays and Saturdays.
And were the social club completely happy to change this to a darts room, or?
Yeah, well, they didn't get a lot of money in from snooker. It was not much in a year. No, some of the dart comps, when he runs it on a Saturday when there's 50 odd people there,
yeah.
Some of the takings behind the bar are in thousands, so it made sense for the club to bring darts in.
And do you think the recent Dart World Championship has helped the popularity?
A lot of the youngsters are coming in now because there's more money in the game and it's quite popular. You'll notice it more of the youngsters around the country who follow them on Facebook and follow a lot of the leagues. So I never really started darts when I started about 10 years ago because I thought it was more of an older person saying I played football, but I didn't play football anymore and started playing darts and really enjoyed it. And there's such a variety of people who are coming on, youngsters, women, young girls, old blokes.
Yeah.
You don't know who you're going to turn up to. So.
Yeah. Club chairman Mark Draper has been at the club for 8 years. He explained how much of a success the darts have been in popularity and income for the club.
If it wasn't for the darts, we'd have been gone by the end of the year. But no, it has saved us. We've brought, I suppose, our takings have quadrupled. There are a lot of people in the doors now, and a lot more people, a lot more trade, a lot more new members.
It is clear to see that on a national scale the popularity of darts is on the rise. The impact this is having on local social clubs like Avon is obvious, and it is brilliant to see local businesses thriving after a difficult few years.
Thanks guys, well that's all from us here on the Friday Sports Buzz. We hope you've all enjoyed our first edition of the programme from Buzz News. Tune in again the same time again next week, 11 a.m. on Friday, for the latest from Bournemouth and beyond. From me, Elliot Murray, and the whole team. See you next time.